when people do the yearly recap, they say like it's a highlight reel and showcasing all their achievements and stuff, which is important because a lot of hard work and determination goes into the achievements. But there's plenty of downs in there as well as ups in it. And as long as you've got more ups than downs, I feel like you're on the right path, because you're going to have ups and downs. There's no such thing as like a upward trajectory. If you zoom out, there is. But if you hone in day by day, there's shit days, there's good days. There's days that are okay. And it's up, down, up, down, up, down. As long as there's more up days than down days, you're onto a winner, I think. Right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast Chatzzz, and this is going to be episode number 80. So welcome to, we've been speaking about this for too long now, the most recurring guest ever on Chatzzz. You've got the crown now, because it was joint last time.
It was joint.
What number of appearances is this for you? Is it number 3?
Number
4.
I don't know how Chatzzz has made it to 80. It's just growing and growing. And honestly, guys, it's such a privilege. For the viewers at home, you can see the emotion in my face. Not because we're filming this super late at night after a very busy day, but it genuinely means the world to me. The most recurring guest on the podcast.
So basically, I've been...
Put on my Tinder bio.
I've been in Marbella, 10, 11, 12 days, something like that?
I said 10 days.
10 days-ish.
12 sounds too much.
And it's the last night, and I've recorded. This is the second podcast I've recorded. Left it last minute. It wasn't my fault for fucking up yesterday, but...
See, the thing I love about doing the podcast with you, there's always something missing. There's always a problem. It's never just, I'll set up the podcast, come in, we'll have a chat. It's like, it's chaos before every single one. But in saying that, also, I apologize if I cough, because I'm terminally coughing for like 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
To power through. But something always goes wrong. But I like that, because wherever there's an obstacle, it means that we're getting to the end result. We work for it.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, this is technically kind of going to be the first episode of 2024. I said to Henry, right, I need you to come on the podcast because
I'm the best guest.
Yeah, I want you to be the best guest. Not that I don't have any episodes recorded or anything. I need to get them up. But obviously, as Henry's, you've been the most recurring guest. We can't do the normal flow, can we, of like the facts and like what you've been up to, because an episode has been posted about 2 months ago.
I only had 6 facts to tell people, and now we're on episode 3. I need 3 more. I'm just not that well versed yet.
So I think we're going to do something different now. We discuss this, see how it goes, because it got a good response last time where you asked me questions at the end.
Yeah.
And I've panicked.
Guys, if you didn't actually watch the video for that, watch it, because I've done Adam a long time, as viewers will know. If this is your first time watching it, just as a reminder, I'm the most recurring guest, but we actually grew up together. But it was the best reaction, because I put Adam on the spot, because he asked the questions. His podcast, to be fair, I was quite rude and obtuse in that situation, but I threw a question back at him. I've never seen someone's body language change on the spot so much with panic. But even through all that, you gave a very good answer.
Thank you,
So,
yeah. Because if people don't know, I would say I'm a bit of a control freak. Not like in a bad way, but I like to be in control of situations. So if I don't expect something, I do get a bit like,
stressed.
Yeah, like what is going on? What do? I like to prepare. I like to know what's going on and that kind of thing. So elements of surprise, it's not my forte, but yeah.
We're in the back foot, but you hit a 6.
Yeah, every time. So what we're going to do is Henry's going to ask me some questions. I'm going to ask him some questions. We're going to free flow it and just see how long we were going. We did go out for food before. We were chatting. Very good conversation, wasn't it?
To be fair, I think we've went too deep in our casual conversation. So we're running empty, but we'll see what we have, guys.
Right.
I've got a few.
So I'll pass you to be the host then. You can start us off.
Pressure being on the side now.
Mate, I said, have you prepared? And you said, I don't need to prepare.
I don't need to prepare. I've got all the questions I need to ask. So where I would personally like to start, because obviously I've known you a long time, and I know
a bit of context
story.
on people.
Yeah, so just a little, very, very brief summary, because we want to keep this short and sweet. But me and Adam have known each other now, 24, 23 years?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, give or take. Longest standing friends. he almost wasn't standing this week because we did a half marathon training session and he's literally crippled. But we've known each other a long time, and I think going through the phases of going to junior school together, growing up, going separate ways to uni, work, and everything we've done, it's just really, it's good to have an opportunity to ask a few deeper questions that people may not have asked him before. Nervous he is.
I'm shitting my pants.
So no, it's questions that I'm curious to ask as a good mate, and I think it would benefit for everybody at home or not. Let's see how it goes. But my first question to you, mate, I can feel him getting sweating. I can feel it. My first question to you is through growing up, and I'm probably going to go to the age group of, I don't know, sort of like 13, 14. Like, if we think back when we were back in school together, what was sort of a crucial part of that time through school? Let's just say secondary school to keep it open. Was there a crucial year that you remember where it sort of had a big impact on where you maybe are now, maybe something with character building or just different situations you had to deal with back then? Because I know that I had a few crucial ones we've discussed in the past, but I've never really asked you. So was there like a defining point back in school that, you know, sort of led you to where you are now, or you can look back on and feel that, okay, this happened and this has contributed to where I am now?
I think for me, people that don't know me, like football was such a big part of my life. Like growing up, from like my earliest memories, playing football in the back garden or playing for my local football team. And I got signed for like the local professional team when I was quite young.
Warwick Wanderers.
No, for Carlisle United. I got signed for Carlisle United when I was like 8 years old or 9 years old, whatever it was, under 9, I think that was the youngest age group. So like, I always wanted to be a footballer, and I was always like good at football. And I was I'd be confident in saying like I was better than the majority of people, especially in our local area and stuff. So obviously got signed to Carlisle United and stuff like that. So that was my life, and I honestly loved it. Like, lived and breathed football. And then went to secondary school, I went to Austin Friars, obviously. So basically, the backstory in that is that when you get to like year 6, 11 years old, you do like SATs, isn't it? Like tests and stuff.
SATs. Jesus.
And my mum and dad knew, and I'd like to think that I'm quite intelligent, but I didn't really apply myself when I wasn't really interested in stuff. So the reason I went to Austin Friars, not William Howard, because I went to the William Howard Open Day, which is like a public school, whereas Austin Friars is a private school. So I got like a 5 in the maths because I've always been good at maths and numbers and stuff. And then 4 in my English and science or something. So them to like punish me, I think, or whatever, they thought the best thing was to do would be to send me to the private school, Austin Friars. And then obviously they didn't play football, and then, which was fine, you know what I mean? But I was still playing for Carlisle United and stuff, and I think it was a bit like abnormal because everyone played rugby, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then I think it was it in like year 7 or something? So I just moved to Austin Friars and was playing rugby. And then I just got moved from like midfield and striker. So basically what I liked doing in football was taking all the glory. So like scoring scoring all the goals, or like being the main man and that kind of thing, which I was decent at. Like when on my debut for Carlisle, I'll never forget, scored a hat-trick and stuff in front of Paul Simpson, who was manager at the time I was friends with. And I was really good. And then when I went to year 7, I can't remember who we were playing. I remember we were short on defenders, so I got put in defence. And because I was like good, I did really, really well. And then got put in defence and then just stayed in defence from like the next few years or something. And I remember maybe when I was like 13, 14, it was like pre-season. I can't remember where we did pre-season. And they asked you to pick what position you think you are. And I've been playing in defence for like a few years and whatever. Like I was decent, whatever, but I lost like the love of playing football. That makes sense. For me, it was more, like obviously I wasn't thinking at the time, but it was more important for me to enjoy playing football than become a professional footballer, even if I wanted to become a professional footballer. So when we got these papers to sign, where do you think you should play? I put like striker or something and defence, because I played in defence, so I put both. And then I think they didn't really like that because they thought, oh, you just do as you're told kind of thing, get put where you want. Because the thing that you don't realise is that not everyone's going to make it in your team.
100%.
Out my team, only 2 people made it. One, Kyle Dempsey, he plays in League One for Bolton now. And Patrick, I think he plays for Northampton in League One. I think Kyle's really, really good player. And then Patrick, same again. But Patrick started as a striker for Silliff. which is a local team. Me and him were strikers, like top players at our age group, and then he went to left midfield and left back. He plays left back now. And then, so that summer I said that, and then I remember you kind of know when you're going to get released. And when I remember, because I said I want to play striker, they put me up front a couple of times and scored a goal, whatever, on my last game. And then they always say, "Oh, can you come in after the game? You know you're going to get released, whatever." But I was, 14, went in with Dad, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're not getting kept on." I remember just like bursting into tears on the way back, because that's all you want to do when you're younger, isn't it? You want to be a footballer and stuff. And it was like, I knew my heart wasn't in it, because I'd be playing on Xbox or PlayStation and that kind of thing, rather than practicing or whatever. And it was just like the realization that, like, I don't know, people don't have your best interests, they don't really care, and that kind of thing. So I think that was like hard at that age, because like people think being a footballer is easy. It's not easy at all. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to be a footballer. It's so competitive. So I think that was like a hard phase for me, because then I went back to Warwick Wanderers. So I'd been there since I was like 9, and that was like 14. So that's like 6, 7 years or something. Yeah. And then going back, and then you think, all right, this is sound. And then you go back and you're like the best player and stuff, which is like fine, but you're just like, I don't know.
Still have the fulfillment where you wanted to be.
Yeah.
Dropping down. It's as much as you're the guy again, and you're probably playing in the positions you wanted to play. So you've got that side of it, but you're not the level you should
like
be.
You're playing with really talented players. You're playing against, like, we played against like Burnley and fucking whoever else and stuff like that. But so going back, the thing that, like, I think back now, my brother did really, really well, and I'm a little bit jealous of him, because he went when he was 9 as well. He got signed on.
Yeah,
he got put in defence straight away. He was a different kind of player to me. He was very unselfish. He'd like rather assist people than score goals. Goes under the radar, probably better footballer than I was.
Yeah.
But he got put in defence, and then after the first year he left, because he was like, I don't want to get stuck in defence. I'd be miserable. And then he won like the county cups, the league cups, all that stuff that I missed out on.
Yeah.
Whereas when I went back, we won like the local North Bank tournament, and we won like the Penrith Cup or something, or the Penrith League, which is like fun and stuff. But I think the thing that I realise now, that reflect into what I do as a business, is like I've always enjoyed being the main person. You know what I mean? So like the
main character of the story.
So like the captain of the football team, or when we had Lanarkos, the captain of the Lanarkos team, the main person who would score the goals, who'd try and get all the runs and that kind of thing. Or like Young Enterprise, be one of the main people who's like dictating or directing what we're doing and that kind of thing, really. And I think that's the other thing, say, in football, that I think like probably compare, say, Jack Grealish, isn't it? To say Jack Grealish was the main man at Aston Villa, scoring the goals, getting the assists, captain, whatever.
The boy.
Yeah, but he's chosen to not be the main man and be part of a team with the chance of winning, which is absolutely fine. Don't get me wrong. I think that's amazing and stuff. But for me, I would rather be the main person. That's just my like characteristics and personality traits.
Yeah.
And people may think, oh yeah, ego, whatever, and all that kind of shit. But it's just knowing your personality and where you're going to excel. I think the best.
100%. I think a good point you're saying is people coming off, oh, that's ego.
Everyone's got an ego to their own business.
Like, you know, I think anyone who has any level of competitiveness, you have to have a bit of an ego. Because if you don't, you're not going to go very far. It doesn't mean that you have to, you know, be arrogant and maybe be a dick about things.
Yeah, there's a fine line.
It's how you handle it. But I think, and knowing you as well, and seeing from the outside, you football transition, everything. If you want to be the main character in your story, that doesn't mean you've got an ego issue. So that's, you know yourself enough that's where you get fulfillment. So by you being the guy, you being the leader, the business owner, the main guy that goes out to meet your clients now, or the guy that was scoring all the goals back in football, that's what you lean towards, and you feel that you're thriving in that. I don't think it should be judged as ego or be, you know, looked at differently for that. Because other people, you know, almost, you got an example with your brother. He's more happy to sit back and contribute to the team, and he probably gets fulfilled because he knows he played a role that helped the whole team rather than his name up there. But it's different levels of fulfillment. And I think to take that from, you know, your sporting background that transition so well with your business today that at the time you probably were so unaware of.
Oh, like I say, I wouldn't have a clue what I was doing. And I think as well, it's like I was captain of like football teams and cricket teams and that kind of thing. And I'd always like either lead by example or lead like vocally and say what to do or try and encourage and that kind of thing, which I can translate to now with obviously clients or the team as well. So I think that's a skill that you pick up like at uni or school, and when you're working in groups and teams and stuff, you think, oh, it's just fucking whatever. But like when you grow older, you understand how different people work, what makes different people tick, how to get inside the head to put that message across to make them perform to the best of their abilities, and not trying to think like, oh, right, well, I know I'm related to football, but so-and-so at right back, he's never going to be the best player in the world, but how can I put my message across or give him the confidence to perform to the best of his abilities, if not slightly better, whatever. And shouting at him, he may think that's the best way, or a bit of encouragement or whatever, or a few little tips and tricks here and there, whatever. And it's just being able to, I don't know, just understand the way different people work, because I think that's probably one of the most important, because like human psychology is so interesting. I failed psychology at school.
Yeah, because the courses were, no offense to Mr. Edmondson at the time, but just horrifically shit.
I got a U, AS level.
Then I got an E.
No, it's better.
Top tier on that one, mate. But no, I think to take a big takeaway from that is, especially when whether you're working, you have your own business or you're working for someone, or whatever dynamic you're in whatever walk of life that you're going to be in, you're meeting and working with different people, and everybody is motivated differently. Some people will get something done because you shout at them and they just respond to being fearful. Others need an arm around them and a confidence boost. And I think you've taken that now, especially into your working life, because I've had the privilege of literally sat on every video call that he's done whilst I'm doing mine. So I think it's a real skill that you've honed and actually from a friend, but also a client as well. You don't realize how good you are actually at that in terms of communication per each client, per individual, and just adapting what you need to do to them. So I think it's a massive insight you've taken from obviously early days that you're unaware of, but now you've really honed as a skill, because that communication with different people and getting the best out of them in a group environment is a really high skill set. So
yeah, and that's like what we said as well when we look at this podcast, and whenever the issues of like the mic's not recording, the cameras and stuff, like I'm not really like an expert or like amazing at any one thing specifically, but I am good at finding people or utilizing skill sets to make something good within reason. You know what I mean? It's obviously people who always do stuff better than whatever like I can do or whoever can do, but with the network and the tools that I've got available, I will make the best thing I possibly can at the present moment. And that's another thing. Like, you don't have to be good at one thing. Like we were speaking earlier, weren't we? You're saying like you're really good at being a sales agent for the buyer, that specific thing. And it's like, well, you know that you haven't done it for the seller. So like you focus on that at the moment, you're really good at that. And then you'll obviously develop that in the future and stuff. But it's just like knowing your own strengths, isn't it? That's the most important thing, and using your experience, if it's from school or just working life and that kind of thing. And just, I don't really know where I'm going with that, but hopefully that answers the question, provided a bit of value.
Somewhere along the way we did. But listen, I think it's kind of round off. It's a really good insight to, I think the takeaway from there in a really good example is what Adam's gone through is just the more you look and know yourself and you focus on one. I preach about this on the last 2 podcasts. So if you haven't watched them and you'll hear it. Sorry to repeat myself, but it's such a daily thing. It's doing what you enjoy and then being able to reflect on that and then working out how you can combine that with your best strengths. If you can know what you're good at and then channel that to something you generally enjoy doing, you will honestly have success. Might not be tomorrow, might not be next week, but it will come to you on those 2 bases. And I think from how you're doing with the business and everything and where you've come, it's a big reflection on that. So yeah, well done. First question answered.
Oh, no, it was only 20 minutes.
Sweating.
No. Next question. Put you on the spot.
I thought you were going to bounce back to me, man.
Nah, fuck that.
Jesus, I only had one. No, it's an absolute lie. I'm always prepared to, even when I'm not. You've got to sell something, right? No, I think a really curious question for me, and especially, we were actually talking about it earlier a little bit, but, and again, just going back to growing up, because I think that's a key time that we spent together. In terms of your closeness with your mum and your dad, like, how was the relationship with them growing up? And what's the contrast to what it is now?
Yeah. I think, like, I don't really post anything about my mum and dad because they don't have social media and stuff, and they're not really, like, bothered, which is, like, fine. Like, I couldn't have asked any more about my mum and dad, like, growing up. I was speaking to you about it earlier. Say, my mum's mum and dad died before the age of 21. You know what I mean? My dad's parents died by the time I was, like, 1. And they were just left on their own to raise me and my brother. And you only realize, like, now when you get older, how much sacrifice they've made and stuff for us to be able to allow us to do whatever we want to do. You know what I mean?
Go to all the rainy nights at Warwick Ridge.
Yeah, all the football trainings, after school clubs, whatever it may be and stuff. And at the time you take it for granted. And you think, like, they've never had a break from me and my brother, never been able to give us a grandparents. They haven't got any aunties or uncles and that kind of thing. So yeah, we obviously spent a lot of time with my mum and dad. I think.
Who were you closer to at the time, sort of teenage years growing up?
I think we've got a different relationship with both. Like, obviously, with the football and stuff, it's mainly my dad. My dad come to all the games and stuff like that. And then
big up Everton.
Yeah.
I'm a Liverpool fan.
And then school would obviously be my mum, because she'd be like dropping me off and picking me up and that kind of thing. Like, the best way to describe mine and my parents' relationship, and even my brother as well, like, we're not like close in the sense that we'd do loads of shit together, like go out for food or go away or whatever, but like
no camping trips.
No. But like, yeah, go on holidays and stuff when we're younger and stuff like that. But like casual meal out and stuff, we don't really do that. But we'll always be there for each other whenever we need it. Like, if my brother said to me, I need to fucking used to be wherever next Tuesday or something, I'd make it happen. You know what I mean? If my dad needed me or I needed my dad, he'd always be there for me. So we've got that relationship in the sense of
there
like,
when it counts.
Yeah, exactly. Because we spent so much, like, they've never had a break from us, really, I'd say. Obviously, yeah, break from your parents because they're always your parents and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, they've never had a break from us. So it's like, when you get older, you're like, fuck, that is mental. Because when your parents are that age, like older than you, when you're like at school, you think they've got their shit figured out, but they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing.
It's like, they're going to work, picking me up, we're sorted, no bother.
I never had to worry about money or what I wanted to do or where I wanted to be. Yeah. Like, it was just like, I want to do this. Like, okay.
Yeah, done.
And very, very fortunate and grateful now for it. I take it for granted when I was younger and stuff. But yeah, so that was at school, like, honestly, fine. Like I say, school stuff, mum, apart from like, well, if it was homework, my dad. And then football, my dad. And then mainly when went to uni, finished uni, my dad was more of like, wanted me to go to Russell Group Uni. And then he wanted me to get like a proper graduate scheme job. And when I didn't, and I went to do the events and stuff, we had a bit of a fallout because he provided all of the proof and evidence of the company I wanted to go and work for being dodgy and legit. But as a 22-year-old, I knew better. Which
as we definitely do, and learn the hard way in both senses.
Which I obviously didn't, and he was right, and that led to me not telling him I had a business for like 10 months and traveling to Ibiza and whatever, being in thousands of pounds of debt. And like, I've put them through a lot of shit. And you know the amount of shit that I've put them through.
Yeah.
And like, them to never like shout at me and always just be like, why didn't you tell us earlier? We could have helped you. Like, amazing. Like, can't thank them enough. They definitely won't watch or listen to this, but I don't tell them enough.
Well, no, I'm going to be sending this to John and Chris.
And then, yeah, like, they would always worry about the business and stuff. When I told them in like October 2019 or whatever, I was like bursting into tears because I was like, massive relief. Not being able to tell them and share that with them. Then my dad's helped me with the business
stuff. Why did you not tell them for so long?
Because
what was holding you back from that? Was it from the fallout from your dad not doing the course, or?
It wasn't really a fallout. It was more just like, why the fuck are you doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, because I want to do events, blah, blah, 22-year-old kind of crap. And then when I left in the January and I didn't get paid, it was more like, I want to prove him wrong. Because you're fucking 22 and you think you know everything.
You got a point to prove.
And I was like, I'm going to make millions of pounds and then be like, yeah, I was right. But that didn't happen. So I went to Ibiza, obviously, did the events, thousands of pounds in debt. And they were like, why are you in Ibiza all the time? Are you on holidays? I was like, yeah. And he was like, have you left your job? And I was like, I'm from Cardiff, I'll tell you. So they came to Cardiff.
Drive down hundreds of miles.
I'll never
just to drop that bombshell.
I'll never forget, honestly. We're in the TGI Fridays, Newport Road in Cardiff, if people know where that is. And then I was just like, told them, burst out in tears. And then they were like, why didn't you just tell? We could have helped them. But Dad was like, oh, why didn't you
why didn't you call us? We don't have to drive all this way. Bloody hell.
And then my dad helped me out with money because I was in X amount of overdrafts and whatever. Absolutely fucked. And then he was like, right, okay, let's sort this out. It wasn't like what I thought he was going to be like. It was like, right, you need to get a job now. He was more like, right, what can we do to sort this out and then put you in the best position possible? Because they've always been supportive no matter what I've wanted to do. It was like, go back to being younger, football club, whatever, cricket, all that kind of shit. And then the business thing, always been supportive. But the worry, obviously, now it's better. But like, probably, especially in COVID, worried because I start again. Like before when I was in Cardiff, they worried because obviously they knew the events was very up and down. And the marketing always since it started, even though we were undercharging ourselves massively. My dad was always like, this is like the one kind of thing because getting service based, they're paying you for your time. It's monthly recurring, it's contracts, you're dealing with proper businesses rather than dealing.
Yeah, just random.
Like it's easier if people don't, I don't know if you can relate to this, but it's easier to get £1,000 from a business than it is to get £10 off you. Yeah. Like personally.
100%.
Like £10 to me personally is a lot of money, whereas a business, £1,000 is still a lot of money, but it's not as much money, hypothetically.
Yeah.
So, you see, so when that happened, my dad was like, right, okay, sort out the money. This is what we need to do. Sort out the accounts because he's a chartered accountant and stuff. Help me and my business partner at the time out and stuff. And and then like I said, in COVID and stuff, it was good when I was home just to like reflect and speak to my dad about it and just bounce ideas off. And then that was when I was like, all right, I think go our separate ways and start on my own. Then he's helped ever since. And it's always been like, I don't know what your arm's like, but it's like you sorry, Karen.
Sorry, and when you made that decision to make the split, especially after being home and sort of talking through your dad, and it sounds like he gave a lot of support and guidance. And do you feel that having made that decision, it was a big influence from him, or was it just you knew for yourself, but you just needed that little push?
I think it's just like say, how old is that? I'd been 23, 24, maybe, something around that age. And it's like, when I was that age, and say, I'd been self-employed-ish for like 18 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Never had a proper job. Didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. And it's like, someone who's older, who's been like in business and stuff for all his life, working in businesses. It's just having like, I don't know, even though it's your dad, he obviously wants your best interest at the same time, and just having that
naturally.
Reassurance. Because when I was that age, because I think going into business at the time with a business partner at 22 was the best thing I could have ever done, because if I went in on my own, I probably would have quit, because it's fucking hard graft. Especially when you don't have a clue what you're doing and you're making it up as you go along. So having someone in that at the same time, in it with you, the wins are great, but it's mainly the mistakes you make and the troubles, and like when you don't have enough money to pay the fucking DJs and whatever, and you think, well, at least someone can relate to the situation. You're in the fucking trenches with me.
Yeah, you got someone to bounce off. And I think especially when you're going through the, not necessarily the bad times, but the learning curves, when things don't go to plan, when you don't have the money, when you don't have the clients, when something is meant to go really well and it goes to shit, but you've got someone to bounce off and with you, it does matter, but it doesn't, because you're like, right, we're in it together. You're digging in the trenches. Let's just make a solution. So it's,
But at that age, I'm 100% glad I did that. But then I think when it was in COVID, I'd done like 18 months and I'd made a lot of mistakes. And I was like, I kind of know what I'm doing within reason.
Yeah.
So like,
level.
I think I know what the direction I want to take this in that's going to be the best for me and my situation. And that's doing the marketing full time and focusing on that. And I was just like, yeah, why the fuck not? You know what I mean? We had like no money anyway, pretty much going in because all the clients' contracts were cancelling. I had to learn just how to sell on Zoom, which I'd never done. I had no clients, no money. And they obviously took me in and allowed me not to pay rent and bills and stuff and just said, right, if this is what you want to do, you fucking do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Got a house, got some food, got some cereal. Crack on.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's really when it kind of kicked on. And I think like 24 was like the big turning point in my life, like you say, with the not drinking. Because if people don't know, I started CJJ Media 1st of June 2020. And then I was back in Carlisle going out with all my mates, being one of the lads, getting drunk, girls, whatever. June, July, August, making no money, a few £100 a month, which isn't a lot of money at all. You can't really live off that, maybe a bit of money from TikTok. And yeah, it was August when I stopped drinking. And then honestly, for like that year, I was making progress, but I wasn't really excelling. I was getting by, you know what I mean? I was comfortable doing whatever. And then it was only really when Yoni messaged me, because I'd known him from Yoni, creative director, but Kyle, I think he calls himself.
Big him up, big Yoni, creative director.
Right hand man.
Big shout out.
I'll be fucking about him.
All this technical setup is because of Yoni.
Yeah,
I got you back, mate. I got you back.
And then it was only really like a year on when he messaged me and it was like, right, because nobody was doing videos and stuff. Right, you come on to Cardiff, stay with me a couple of days. Never stayed with him before, but I knew him from the events. We'd always chat. And he was like, right, you do the social media, I'll do the videos. And I was like, fuck it, right, let's do it. So then,
why not? Skill set together.
So I think we signed like 2 clients within like 2 weeks, something. Not very much money, like £400 a month. And then the thing that I'm very grateful for him is that he like believed in me, even though he like kind of pitched it to me, but he obviously saw something in me to be like,
yeah, of course.
Right, this kid, young boy, seems relatively switched on. He kind of knows what he's doing. I think teaming up with him could benefit the both of us. And that's really when things started to kick on from like August 2021. Not really kick on, but like kind of kickstart what I'm doing right
you
now.
Feel a bit of momentum in the sales, don't you?
Yeah, and I felt like we had a really good product. So that's one thing that I think everyone should realise. When I first started, I'd do everything. Well, me and Lloyd would do everything. We wouldn't really have that much good of a product or a service, whereas we're very similar. We had similar skill sets because we've both done events and that kind of thing. But to be honest, he's probably the best photographer I know, I've seen, / videographer, and he's better than me. So it's like finding people that are better than you to give a better product or service to your customer or client, whatever that may be, or finding someone who's better at sales or whatever the fuck it is, and doing it like that rather than going in business with your friend who's got the same thing, which is like good at the time. Like I said, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
But if you can find other people, this is just my opinion, if you find other people who are better than you or passionate about you, or even like just as good as you, who fucking love it, find those people, make a little bit less money, and then hopefully in the long run, be more successful. You'll have a better business, better product, better service, that kind of thing. So yeah, really, with Yoni, that was really when things started to make progress, which was 2021. Then yeah, really only last year started to think, right, I'm actually on something here, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's the thing. It takes that time, and especially like you just said there, you know, getting to work with Yoni and making it work. You know, I think there's always that quote, isn't there? Like, if you want to go somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to go somewhere far, go together. And that's the perfect example of you've got your skill set, he's got his skill set, and you combine it, make it work. You know?
Yeah, and that's where, like I was saying earlier about the team building, the teamwork thing, and very lucky in the small team that we've got now. Like the staff Christmas party went to Dublin. Zishan lives in Dublin at the moment. He's at uni there. It's all social media, edits, the posting, that kind of thing. He's so passionate about that. He's better at that than I am, the edits and the social media and understanding that kind of stuff. He's originally from Pakistan, so I think that's his only limitation, that like the culture, because he's at uni there. Then having Yoni, obviously, with the creative eye and flair. And me, fuck knows what I do. But yeah, having like that team and stuff, it just feels good. You know what I mean? It's like when we went over there for the staff party, it's like we didn't do anything crazy. We're all like-minded, we're all got the same interests. We all don't really drink, but we don't drink. And like all we did was go for food, went bowling, played ice hockey, filmed some videos that I haven't even edited or posted yet. Like me approaching random people in the streets.
Yeah,
it's like it's not work, but it's like work because people say, "Oh, are you working?" It's like it's just fun for us. Like we enjoy it. Like Zishan doing the behind the scenes, Johnny filming it, me being the center of attention, whatever,
being the captain.
Even though it's fucking awkward as fuck, and they say, hey, "Honestly, make it unnatural." I'm just shitting myself approaching these random strangers, being like, "So what's the worst part about Dublin?" And they're like, "The fuck?" But like shit like that. Now, like we were saying earlier, the journey of me, with mum and dad's spare room, getting up at 5 a.m, making no money, having no purpose in that, deciding to stop drinking, to now being able to have a small team, enjoy going away and spending time with them. It's like so fulfilling, and it's just like nice for me to give back to them and show their appreciation. Like I haven't bought Yoni a gift
yet.
No, I have now. He knows what I fucking bought him. Until Christmas, and same as Ishan. I don't think what it is, but like they weren't expecting that, and it was just like me to say to them like, "Thank you." You know what I mean? I enjoyed doing that because it's like I appreciate all the hard work you've done, and you believed in me from the start, or like the beginning-ish, especially Yoni, like from zero to where we're at now. To fucking lot of progress, and Zishan maybe like 2 years something, and he's seen the progression and he's motivated and he's keen to do more and stuff. And shout out to Maha, she's overseas and she's like my assistant kind of thing. And it's just like having those people that I was saying to you, like having a team. I've been lucky that people seem to like me and enjoy working with me. They've been working a long time. They haven't left yet. Please don't leave. So far as I'm full.
Yeah, please don't leave, because it'll be the last time the camera will turn on.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just, like you're saying, it's just the journey is the most fun bit, and picking people up along the way or having them there from the start to enjoy it with you, who actually, not that they're like fully, they don't care as much as I do, but like they treat it like their own. Well, I think they treat it like their own, even if they're not, and they're slagging me off behind my back, whatever. But it's just like, yeah, it's just nice to spend time with people and share the experiences with those people who like love, respect, enjoy working with and all that kind of shit. But yeah, it's like you were saying at dinner, isn't it? I love the people the most who have seen the journey from the start to the end. Whereas I've always see people in 3 different categories for me personally, is the ones who know me from events, party boy, going out all the time, whatever. Then now the sober, boring business owner. And then the one
no crack.
yeah, the no crack. That's been all the time.
He didn't have crack when he drank, but just because he drank, it got bearable.
And then the people that have seen me progress from events, party, whatever, to stop drinking to now sober, business kind of thing. And it's just like nice, like people exactly like you who've seen the transition and can see the progress and that kind of thing. Because I'm in it all the time. I don't really see much progress, but like, it's just, yeah, appreciating those people that have been part of the journey through the good and the bad. Another shout out person, like Kieran, is because he helped me like in the events when I wasn't paying him fuck all. I'd be like flyering, selling tickets, doing street team, whatever I needed, he would be there. And like, even just gestures of appreciation to him and just the shit that I've done with him, it's just like a nice thing for me to be like, I appreciate what you've done. Now it's all right. you're kind of reaping some rewards within reason and stuff. But yeah, I think for me, it's just appreciating people, isn't it? And,
100%.
and not just being like expecting people to respect you or work with you or I don't know, have the same standards as you as well. It's just like appreciating them and, like you said, bringing other people up with you and trying to bring everyone up with you and just feel like the part of like the movement, as deep as that sounds, it's not that deep, but like part of something, because that's all people want, isn't it? It's like they want to be part of a community or a team or a club or whatever, with that sense of belonging. So if you can create something like that, whatever it is, mine's obviously my business, and create that thing that everyone buys into and wants to hopefully see succeed, I feel like, yeah, that's just me trying to direct it in the right direction.
Yeah, well, I think you get the recipe for success. You mentioned something there that you've been lucky with the people you've had. And I think, again, from someone who's seen the journey from many, many years now, mate, there's a luck element in terms of right place, right time. But I think in terms of just for you to reflect, you had a vision that maybe you couldn't quite see. Yoni complemented that well because he saw the vision that you had, but maybe you weren't there yet to push you in that way. And I think to say that you're lucky to have a team, I don't think you're lucky at all, actually. It's the energy that you've attracted, the vision that you've had, the belief in that yourself that you've had, that then brings them up with you. So I think in terms of it's never quite luck. I think it's always manifested through your actions, how you do things, and also what you give back to people. Again, like you've got your business now, and we were speaking earlier about how it takes months and months of getting the structure, the strategies, procedures to make it run smooth. But you've now got people who will run through the wall for you, you know, because they believe in what you've created, but they now put themselves on 100% into that business because they feel that you're worth working for. And I think as a business owner or I think any leader or even just in any walk of life that listeners or viewers might be in now can take something from that, in the sense that whatever you put towards something, how other people respond is a direct reaction from what you give them, So having built this tight team now where you're incredibly grateful for, and we speak about it a lot, and they're probably all in a position where they respect and appreciate the company you've built, and you've given them an opportunity to be part of something that's growing momentum. You do your work trip and you're all doing things which are very similar to your actual work, but it doesn't feel like work because you all enjoy it. Now, to me, that's like the goal, to do something that you're working for, but it doesn't feel like you're working.
Yeah.
And as a result, you're happier, you're meeting like-minded people, you're having good connections, you're supporting each other, all different skills, all different strengths. And the bonus is you're doing something that makes money to support your lifestyle. So it's a strong balance.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to like when you're younger and stuff, like lead by example, isn't it? And I've always felt like people would listen to me. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because I'd say, if I had to describe myself now, I wouldn't say, well, maybe when I was younger, I'd try and be like the loudest person in the room. Whereas now, I'm a bit, if you meet me for the first time, I'm a bit more reserved. Like I'm like an extrovert introvert. That's the right thing. Because like I like doing the social media and stuff and that kind of thing. Whereas like meeting new people, if I'm doing a podcast or something, I'm fine. But like meeting people in public,
out your comfort zone, I think.
Yeah. It's not like my strong point. I don't really enjoy it that much and that kind of thing. I like to know who I'm meeting and a bit of backstory about them and
market research.
Exactly. And that's why I like doing the podcast, because I'll do a bit of research about them. I feel like I know them before I meet them and that kind of thing. Whereas, yeah, even though I do the fucking approaching random strangers in the street and stuff for videos, it's like,
just side note, I fancy doing that with you. That's my jam.
It's good. It is good fun, but you still shit yourself every time. But I think it's just like, just being very self-reflective and understanding what you're good at and what you're not good at, and just focusing on what you're good at, because there's no point I think for me, there's no point me trying to be something that I'm not, like trying to be a fucking videographer or trying to be I don't know, a real estate agent or something. Because for me at the moment, I don't have that much time, energy or resources to allocate into learning a new skill. I just need to focus on what I'm good at and excelling at that, and then bringing other people in and up with me. And I feel like that's all I've said it to you.
Yeah,
and like,
before.
when you've got like a friendship group, you've got friends in the same industry as you, you all bring each other up together, and it's far more satisfying than being like, well, I'm not fucking talking about this with you, and just like
and
shitting
just
on
being a shark in the pond. It doesn't work.
And even when I was doing a podcast with Kevin, which is going to be posted after this, he's saying his boss like wants to bring all of them up together.
He's the top
him.
guy. Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's all that I would ever aspire to be. Obviously, he's way more successful than me, but and way more money. I wish I had that much money.
Sebastian, killing it, bro. We're coming for you.
Yeah, but like people like that, it's just like, that's cool. Like if I ever took a job, I'd want to work for someone like. I mean,
Exactly.
I'd want to be like that on a small scale at the moment.
Yeah. But mate, and I think to take credit where credit's due, you've already created that within your team, within your means and where you're working towards. So in terms of, okay, the financial goal, the growth goal, it's always going to be bigger and better. But look at what you've done the last few years, and you've got that team now. You've got them wanting to work for you. You're excited to give back to them. So I think it's it's in a very good position to be, which will, just keep on growing.
And that's the thing where people always say to me, will you ever drink again? And I'm like, I don't know, because I just see the progress. Because every year, if you don't know, for a business, you do a yearly account and how much money you've made. I know money isn't everything, but people say
It's crucial in business.
if you're in business, you need to make money to pay yourself, pay everyone else, and you want to make a profitable business, because
Live, thrive, see,
at the end of the
invest,
day, everyone's in business to make money, aren't they? Like, you wouldn't be unless like it's a fact. So when I see like the progress over the last couple of years, I think, fuck, that's good. So why would I impact that progress for something you're saying? Like, we chat about loads of shit, but like the short-term gratification of like being drunk, having a good time. Like that being drunk is fun, isn't it? Yeah. The next day, not so much. But like making that sacrifice short term for the long term goal, and I feel like I'm starting to see and reap some rewards now from the sacrifice that I've made like 3 and a bit years ago. So it's like, if you're complaining about your life, or you're not happy where you want to be, what you want to do, whatever, it's going to be a cost or some sacrifice somewhere. So like, you need to think, what is more important to me? So my example of where I was at was, what do I want to be? One of the lads going out every weekend, girls, that kind of stuff, and then potentially get a job. Nothing wrong with having a job, but that was one thing. Or what's the one thing that's holding me back? Being hungover and stuff and not working. So I'm going to stop drinking and focus on my business and make something of my career. And the thing is, you don't have a fucking clue if it's going to work out or not. You just have to believe in yourself, self-belief. And if you stop drinking, you have more, Kevin says, mental clarity.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think just to simply stop drinking, don't get me wrong, like I'm, one of the rugby lads, always enjoyed it. But I think from a productivity standpoint, once you stop drinking, or you have a time period away from the drink to then focus on something, your mental clarity is so much more positive. It's so much more effective. You just optimize everything you're doing. That I think on the flip side, and this is where you're going with this, you almost don't want to look back because everything is going so well. And you don't want to disrupt that momentum of growth that you've now seen year on year with the figures, but probably also how you feel, the connections you've made, and the growth you made as a person. Like, once you feel those benefits, I think the question is, why would you want to U-turn that? Can you? Of course, because it's always a choice. You can do whatever you want, and that's the beauty of it. Whether you're stopping completely or it's having time away to focus on what's more important to you. But I think it's prioritizing that goal and firstly knowing it,
Yeah, I think priorities and having a purpose is the most important thing. Like, if you want to stop drinking, just stop drinking. I probably wouldn't recommend it, because what's the fucking point?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing it?
Yeah. If you're just like, you've got a good balance, because you can enjoy it and then you can stop, can't you? like over Christmas, you enjoyed a few bevies, and then you said, right, I'm stopped now to marathon, which is like
running a half marathon.
Yeah. I think the problem is when people binge drink every weekend.
Yeah.
But all my mates drink, not every weekend and stuff, which is fine. Not a problem with that. But like, say, if you say you want to stop drinking, just stop drinking and not being hungover. That's not a good enough reason, in my opinion. But if you say, all right, yeah, I don't have enough money to go on holiday, or I'm not getting a promotion at work, my business is failing. It's like, that is good enough purpose and reason to prioritize that end goal before your short-term gratification.
Yeah.
If you don't have enough money to go on holiday and you want to go on holiday, stop drinking, you save a fucking fortune. Or if your business is failing because you're hungover all the time, stop drinking and being hungover all the time and focus on your business because you'll be way more focused, motivated, make better decisions, all that kind of shit. So, yeah, if you're ever thinking of doing it, people do message me and they're like, oh, have you got any tips? Whatever. I'm like, to be honest, as brutal as it sounds, just don't drink alcohol. It's that simple. It is that simple. But if you don't have a purpose or a reason,
there's no point.
You fucked. Well, what is the point? There is no point.
Yeah.
But then again, there's people who are way more successful and can drink and stuff. But for me, and like you've got a different relationship to alcohol than I do. You have a few bevs Christmas, then you stop. You're like, that's my little bit of fun, whatever. I can't do that. It's easy for me because now I've done 3.5 years. I'm like, fuck, it'll mess me up mentally. But like you say, you don't make excuses. And you're like, I'm doing my business. I'm going to sign these clients, going to sell these houses, whatever. And you make it happen. But then you can still enjoy it at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is like sound. Whereas like, I know I couldn't do that because I'm different. But then like, don't make excuses or complain that you're not where you want to be or not doing what you want to do. And then know that you can do more.
Yeah, I think it's a balance of, if you're unhappy wherever you are, whether it's work, relationship, friends, where you live, what you do, financially, whatever area of your life that you're not satisfied, there's always a gap. And we were speaking about this at dinner, so I'll try and bring it back up because it felt a lot more philosophical as we were smashing back some Shango's burgers. But
I had too much at dinner.
Yeah, we did. Overkilled it. But it's all right. We've got some gems still. But I think the point is that if you're not happy with any area of your life, look at what you're not happy about and look at where you want to be. And then from where you are now to where you want to get to, I call it the gap. And that's of, okay, what time, what energy, what money do I need to put towards getting to where I really want to change my situation? As Adam was saying, is it I just simply complain about it but do nothing? Well, then it's never going to change. So therefore, is there a point in stopping drinking because you don't have your purpose? Well, probably not. It might not give you the benefit that you're thinking. It's just a case of looking at what you want to be, what you want to have in your life, what you don't have now, and what's the gap between it. Do you need to earn £100 more a week to do the things you want to do? Okay, then that should then become a priority because it will change your perception on where you are. It will arguably make you happier because you're achieving that. Okay, I need £100 more a week. What time, what energy and money do I need to put towards that to be able to do that? And you bridge the gap.
And I think as well, I did say there's no tips. No, it's a bit. But one tip that I would say, and you were using it the other day, take it one day at a time. On the run, Henry, we were doing 16K. I only did 10K because my fanny and my feet are absolutely
still very impressive. Yes. Good job.
Henry was saying 1 kilometer more, 1 kilometer more. Take it 1 kilometer at a time. If you're stopping drinking, just take it one day at a time. Don't say you're going to stop drinking forever. Just say, I'm not going to drink today. And that is very manageable. If you say, I'm not going to drink today, that's fine. Take it day by day. Don't think forever is a very long time. If I said to myself, I said I'll do in 3 months, yeah? If I said to myself, I'm not going to drink for 3.5 years, I'd be like, fuck that.
Not a chance.
Yeah, but I said 3 months, I thought, that is reasonable. It's a bit of sacrifice. And then the second month, I was like, sound, carry on. But yeah, just small steps, isn't it? Don't
don't
get to the end goal straight.
Have that ambition to have a ridiculously good goal or huge goal or what may seem unachievable, but then break it down, day by day. Because otherwise it'll be overwhelming. But if you chip away every day, so don't have a drink today, don't have a drink today, suddenly it's a week. Okay, cool. Let's do another day. Suddenly it's a month. Suddenly it's more. And that can be applied to anything, whether it's not drinking, fitness, your health, even doing a side hustle. It's just have the ambition to dream big, but then break it down so that you have little wins every day.
Yeah.
Little wins, small and often. All wins are the same, small or big, but if you make sure you're hitting daily and having that momentum towards it, you're much more likely to get there.
Right, I reckon we do one more question and we end it. Because I've got a flight in literally 2 hours. No, 3 hours.
3 hours. Right, ending question. And I think this is one that will be a bit of a food for thought. So, if your future self, if you could ask your future self anything, let's say in the next 6-12 months, what would it be?
So I'm asking my future self, who's like 6 to 12 months in the future.
12 months ahead of where you are now today, based on, let's say, what your goals are.
Should we say 12 months?
Let's say 12 months.
It's January now.
Yeah, let's say
end of the year.
New year, new me.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's say,
End of the year,
what would you ask your future self in 12 months? Bear in mind, you've got your personal goals, business, health goals, whatever it is. What would you ask them, right?
That's a good question. I'd have to think about that, but I think
Take a minute.
something along the lines of, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
Something as simple as that, because I think, like, for me, we just talk too much, but like I was saying to you earlier, the one thing I wish that I kind of did when I was younger was work for like a marketing company. So I knew like, had the experience, I knew each different, like, because when I was at uni, I worked at hotels, I was going to do hospitality management. So I worked in every department and then worked as like the assistant manager. So I knew how everything worked, all the departments fed into each other, they communicated, all that kind of shit. So I knew the mechanics, should we say, of that. So I wish I had that experience a few years, something like that. Like what you had the last however many years, whatever. So then I could just implement that straight away and be like, right, this is what works. This is what I'd add into this formula and do it like that. Whereas, say, like the way we started marketing in the first place, we went to a Facebook ads for beginners course in Cardiff so we could improve our ads for the events.
Yeah.
Ended up signing 2 clients, a marine repair company and a naturopathic school, which is like natural healings and stuff. Random. Like, and that's how we started doing marketing. We were like, well, we do this for our events. We can do it. They thought events was cool because they'd been to IB for when they were younger. And then it just kind of went from there. And I've just always kind of been like, I think this is the right thing to do. Maybe.
Try and error though.
Yeah. And it's taken me way longer to get where I am now than it would have. But like I say, it's a journey. It's part of the fun and it is all worth it. But I think, like I say, if I'm asking myself in 12 months' time, I'm saying like, am I doing the right thing? Like, is there any, you shouldn't ask for shortcuts, but is there any like tips that you'd give me to fast track what I'm doing right now?
What can I do more? What can I do better?
Yeah. But I would love to see like some of my clients' results as well. That's what kind of like turns me on, should I say. I love seeing like my clients do well because I think when you're dealing with people like you are, like actual people, when they're like buying houses, the emotion that they get, like, thank you so much for getting the house. It's my dream home, that is the kind of thing. Whereas like when I'm dealing with businesses all the time, it's not as emotional because
it's more clinical, isn't it?
Yeah. And like when you get messages from your clients like, oh my God, that's amazing. And
from every client.
Yeah. But typically I wouldn't get them from clients because it's more of like an expectation to do well and to improve the business. I'm not complaining about it at all because I love all my clients now. Not that I didn't before, but really good relationships. But it's just like the conversations that you have are very like, what's next?
Well, it's all target driven percentages and increases.
So like, I'd love to know, like say because
they've done well.
Yeah, I'm hammering home like new strategies, new ideas for the new year to clients. And I'm like, right, this is what we need to do. And then it's just like, is this the right thing to do? Is there anything I can do to improve and that kind of thing? I think, but it's like I say, I think if I was asking myself, I would want to know, but I wouldn't want to know at the same time. I'd hope he'd be like, I'm not fucking telling you.
Listen, you'll see. We've upgraded the BM. We've got a villa in Marbella. It's clearly going very well.
I know. But yeah, no, it's exciting for me because obviously buy my first property. Yeah. Hopefully getting a new car. Well, I will get a new car as soon as I get my property. And then hopefully move into Marbella. And yeah, so I think 2024 is going to be a bit of carnage, but it's going to be fun. And it's like you say, just enjoy the journey, just work it out. Because like I was saying to you, for me, if all my work was online, I'd move here in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, where I'm at the moment, I would have to split my time, whatever percentage. But that's why there's no such thing as luck, because you have to continue to put yourself in those situations to get a little bit of luck. But I'm lucky that I found a business that I enjoy, I'm good at, and I've got the ability to have flexibility with my location and time and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think I would just say like, we're doing the right thing. And I'm probably, and I think a lot of people do struggle with it, but like I've got a lot of self-belief and I probably should ask people's opinions more and stuff and just like, I don't know, say like, oh, what do you think of this or what do you think of that? But I'm very single-minded and closed-minded in the sense like, I'll do what the fuck I want to do.
I mean, you back yourself.
Yeah.
And also I think with, especially, because I'm quite similar in that sense, but I think for you, asking people's opinions doesn't dictate more what you're going to do. Like you've already made your mind up. You already know that you're going to go with this strategy. You already know that you're going to do it this way. So why complicate it? You've got that self-confidence to back it. Just go.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think more people need to believe themselves as well.
100%. Nothing holds you back more than yourself. And you have more conversations with yourself in your life than you do with anybody else.
It's fucking dangerous though sometimes. And you overthink things and that kind of thing. And I don't know, hopefully I make things look easy from the outside looking in. I think that's the sign.
I would say from first hand, having ads stay for another couple of weeks as a client and a friend and a host, he makes it look incredibly smooth. It is chaos behind the scenes in a good way to all the clients watching, because the results are there and he handles everything incredibly well. But believe me, there are obstacles behind the scenes between Zoom calls, but he nails them. So yeah, good job.
That's what I mean. I think like the thing that is hard for any business owner, for us to sympathize with everyone out there, it's like you deal with all the problems. There's nobody else to deal with the problems. Like I went through some shit like last month, and you sometimes think like, wish I had a job and someone else would deal with this shit.
It's like, oh God, like there's no one to delegate it to, no one to share the blame. It's just on you. But again, as part of the journey, that makes you 10 times better, especially for then going and dealing with it. So it's part and parcel of it, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, going back to it, and we're doing it, and we're doing right. What would you say? What would you say? 12 months time?
What would I ask myself in 12 months time? I think most importantly, this might sound a little bit soft and spiritual, but are you fulfilled with where you are? Nothing to do with the finance side. Obviously, I've got ambitions for my business massively in the next 6 to 12 months. But I think for me, and this is, I've touched on this before, but I work on two ways of being motivated for things. And number one is fulfillment. Secondary is finance. So for me, I think I would be curious to ask my future self, am I truly fulfilled doing what I'm doing? But I also believe that being sat here today, I know I wouldn't be doing and planning ahead and taking on the business as I am if I didn't already feel that I know I'm going to be. So it's sort of I trust in my future self that it will be done, what I need to do. But I'm be curious to be, okay, is what we've achieved this next 12 months, are we fulfilled?
I think that's a good one, yeah. Because I think, yeah, you can look at it from two sides, can't you? Like personally and business, but they could kind of blend into one, I think, wasn't it?
I think we spoke about this earlier, but we're both now And again, it's not luck because you keep mentioning luck, and I'm anti-luck. But it's
So it's like I said, it's like to get that little bit of luck, you need to put yourself in those situations to get that either be at the right place at the right time. But you need to keep doing the same thing over and over again and get no results or no rewards. And then that one day or that one time, then that client comes through,
100%.
sign that client, or you get those results or whatever, that kind of thing. But I hate it when people say, you're so lucky. It's like, so lucky, but what about the hundreds and thousands of hours and the millions of rejections,
people,
whatever that you've been through? And it's like, you just want the result, but you don't want to put the work in. And that's why people think, oh, it looks easy. Yeah, it's good that it looks easy because then,
you do so well at you've refined the skill, and people only ever see the tip of the iceberg, and that's always how it's going to be. So I think in that sense, and especially for both of us now as business owners, we've already backed ourselves enough to take the jump. Now it's just to say, right, keep jumping, keep pushing. We've already taken the biggest risk by starting. We keep showing up, keep getting the work done, and to whatever capacity. I think we both back our future selves enough to know that whatever route we're going down, there's going to be a lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges, but we enjoy that because that's the journey. And because of that self-belief, we know that our future selves will be successful. So it's going to be an exciting year, mate.
And my mum and dad have always taught me this. You only regret the things you don't do, which is such a valuable bit of information that stuck with me forever because, like I was saying about them earlier, about my mum and dad, they've traveled the world. They were based in Paris, Boston. I was born in Boston, moved back to Paris, that kind of thing. And they just did it, you know what I mean? They said like yes to opportunities and they've traveled to God knows how many countries. And I think like, I don't know what you think, but like your mum and dad, they actually had a life before you were born. They aren't just your parents.
They were saying like parents are just going to raise you, do everything for you. You're their life. Not that they actually had like a friend group, had crack and traveled.
They had way more fun than when we rocked up and stuff. And 100%. It's just like, they did that shit, which is like inspiring to me. More so now than when I was younger. Mum and dad are so not cool. But it's just like, just do it. And then if it works out, great. If it doesn't, at least you've done it and you
learn from it. You learn from it. I think there's no such thing as truly failing, because with every failure that you have, no matter how big or how small, if you choose to learn from it, it's a win. It's a win.
Yeah.
So maybe to wrap it up on that note, roll on to 2024. Let's race lots of failures. Enjoy the journey.
Not too many though.
Not too many.
That's what I did in my post. Someone mentioned it the other day actually. I did a post, some so inspirational, motivational. It's like when people do the yearly recap, they say like it's a highlight reel and showcasing all their achievements and stuff, which is important because a lot of hard work and determination goes into the achievements. But there's plenty of downs in there as well as ups in it. And as long as you've got more ups than downs, I feel like you're on the right path, because you're going to have ups and downs. There's no such thing as like a upward trajectory. If you zoom out, there is. But if you hone in day by day, there's shit days, there's good days. There's days that are okay. And it's up, down, up, down, up, down. As long as there's more up days than down days, you're onto a winner, I think.
It all balances out, and it's actually, we were saying this before, but if you were to win all the time, you would lose the fulfillment of the win. So it balances itself out, and you, especially when you overcome an obstacle or an incredibly hard time, to then get the reward at the end, that's 10 times more fulfilling than if you just got it straight away. So it's, it's all that balance.
Yeah. Right. Any closing thoughts? We've been over an hour now.
No, this is going to be a half an hour short and sweet special.
No, I was chatting way too much. I feel like you only asked me 3 questions. I just babbled on.
Well, I only prepped 3 questions. To be fair, that's worked out pretty well. No, I think closing thoughts, just, you touched on it there before. I mentioned, I think, on the very first podcast I did, because this is my 3rd one now as a highest recurring guest. Drop that one again. But like I say, guys, just, I hate the thought of what if. And to round off what we were just talking about quite nicely, if you have an opportunity to do something, ask yourself, when will I get this opportunity again? If the answer is you don't know or you won't, just do it. Take action, attack it, whatever that might be, learn from it and just do it. Because otherwise, all you'll ever think is, what if I did that? What if I did that? It's not worth it. Just go do it. So in your 2024, attack it. Let's go.
Yeah. And yeah, I hope people have learned a bit of information about me, about what I was like growing up, my family. What was the third question?
It'll come back to us because we're both very tired.
Stuff like that. To be fair, I actually enjoy talking about myself more than I thought I would. I can understand why guests like coming on here, chatting shit about themselves.
Listen, I think I'm taking the role of guest to host.
But you'll have to be a co-host soon when I move back to Marbella.
Listen, we're going to be a collaborator.
I've got 3 mics as well.
Oh, man. Dangerous.
But yeah, right, everybody, thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like the video, comment your favourite part. Any future guests, if you want Henry Busk again for the 4th episode, let us know.
Comment.
If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.